Hey minions, welcome to Crank It Up. I'm Jim Price, and on this episode of King of the Hill, I want to talk about the ship's captain of the Star Roamers. This is our Father's Day episode, so happy Father's Day to all the Smash Up dads out there. I picked this faction because Star Trek is quite possibly my dad's favorite franchise. I'd like to clarify that Game of Thrones is not my mom's favorite franchise, but there wasn't anything relevant to her interests, and Aunt of Drakes is like a mother figure, so just go with it. The ship's captain is one of the rare king minions whose ability is exclusively on play, and this is a particularly strong one. The ship's captain can search your deck for any minion and put it into your hand. If it is a minion of power 3 or less, that minion can be played on the same base. Like all extra plays, this is optional, but if you do play it that turn, it must be on the same base. At a minimum, this means the ship's captain can be part of an 8 power drop with the minion he brings along. Depending on the traveling minion, the power will likely be greater. But is this always the best use of the card? I'm not sure, and I'm going to be looking at both cases independently. The Star Roamers are a particularly top-heavy deck, which means their strength really comes from their rarer minions rather than having balance throughout their structure. For this reason, I'm always tempted to grab one of their 4s instead, even if I can't play it this turn. The Star Roamers are very much an engine-driven deck, so why would I convert them into a big drop? Furthermore, you are more likely to grab a 3-powered minion drawing cards anyway, so why not go for the rarer card? Getting the Science Officer or Medical Officer can pay dividends down the road and allow me greater presence than that extra 3-powered minion. And this is where the ship's captain really shines. I can grab any minion. Mild-mannered Citizen can only grab 5 or higher. Gelf can only grab 4 or lower. Both put them into play immediately. But I can grab any minion, big or small, the perfect minion for the task, and not necessarily need to put it in play. How many times have you felt you lost a game because you didn't have access to your king minions? Ship's captain can help with that. However, I don't want to turn this into another mild-mannered Citizen video, so I'm going to be focusing mostly on 4s for the first half of this video. The use case is in fact different from the Gelf, who must play the minion immediately. Sometimes you don't want to play it immediately. I'll also be focusing on who would specifically work with the Star Roamer strengths. So would I choose the Science Officer or the Medical Officer? It's a really tough call, but I'm going to have to choose the Science Officer. Destruction is prevalent, but I really prefer the Science Officer with the Engineer. There are some really crazy combos you can do with the Science Officer, like intentionally glimmering your ship's captain to pull him back to your hand so you can keep grabbing minions from your deck. This way, you could have both of your 4s and have full access to your engine. But what about other factions? There are a few that really stand out, starting with someone I already named, Glimmer. This is one of my favorite 4s because the power drop can be devastating, but it also works really well with the Science Officer engine, as I already mentioned. Additionally, the Star Roamers need time to build their engine, and having -4 power each turn will really help with that. Stoneford of the Vigilantes is the action version of the ship's captain, and you can use it to grab Port Me Up. This way, you can easily retrieve ship's captain when a base scores and grab another Vigilante, which really helps as that deck is minion starved. Similarly, having Dusty Henry ready to take out any particularly annoying minion is a great asset. Assuming the 2 star factions can peacefully coexist, Space Prince is a great choice. The extra action plays will really help the Star Roamers' lack of power, and the Astronauts have the card draw needed to get those actions into your hand. Given how much the Star Roamers also care about movement, Scoundrel would not be a bad choice either. The Star Roamers use their engine to persist minions on bases, so why not enhance that further? The deep fires of the Clerics can keep your 4s in play. Granted, you would need time to actually establish this engine, and it might take 4 ship captain plays, but the Clerics grant you the recycling needed to make this happen, as well as some power reduction, and the Star Roamers also have return-based stall tactics. Given how much the Star Roamers move, getting both guides will be very high priority. These can even create some power boosts after a base scores, which might trigger another base to break. Given how top-heavy the Explorers are themselves, and the fact that both guides, really help Idaho Smith become efficient, getting these guides might be higher priority than the medical officer. If you went the medical officer route, you should consider Whiskers, which when combined with your Star Roamer engine becomes an Archmage that you have 2 copies of. Of course, my preference is always to destroy other players' minions so you can grab Queen Fluffy after, but in the meantime, you can just move your minions to prevent the destruction. The Star Roamers have a lot of actions that seem like they would be powerful at the last possible moment, which the Mole can provide. Imagine playing Mass Teleport before you score a base where you've invested heavily. One of your good minions can be moved to another base while other players lose one of theirs, possibly breaking the base by yourself. And if you don't want that base to pay out because you're not winning, play Hyperspeed 10 to get a better distribution or go to a base that won't score this turn. The Mole can even beam himself up with Teleport Overflow and give you a head start on another base if you were already winning there. There are a lot of great combos here, too many to name, but one I specifically want to call out is one that Gelf cannot do. This is because Gelf puts the minion into play, whereas these minions you wouldn't want to play immediately. Felicia Day and Will Wheaton of the Geeks. Imagine having instant access to your greatest action counter, as well as a minion who can turn around minion presence to your favor. This is extremely powerful and gives credence to the fact that you shouldn't always consider the 3-powered minion. But there are times when grabbing the sidekick is the right play. For this portion of the video, I'm going to be looking at scenarios where the ship's captain ability is spammed, because the Star Roamers really don't need more than one of their engineers. At most, they need 2, just so that they can protect each other. Again, I'm going to consider synergy with the Star Roamers, and I'm going to keep this part shorter than the first half because many of these combos are self-explanatory. I'll also try to pick different minions for different reasons so you can see how versatile the ship's captain is. My first choice are the Divas, who can beam back up with the ship's captain after a base scores. The Disco Dancers also come with their own version of Port Me Up in I Will Survive, so they can either all go back to your hand or get moved off the base together. I also really love getting my Spartans early so that they can accumulate power early and often. Since the Star Roamer is returned to your hand, each time the new Spartan can be played on a different base, and they all grow in power together, letting the Star Roamer movement position them accordingly. I would have included Jason or Heracles in my 4 list, but there wasn't as much urgency as the Spartans have because those minion effects expire at the end of the turn. My final choice for this abbreviated list would be the Imperial Dragon. I really like having one of these on every base to guarantee myself card draw, or force them to play on a particular base. The Star Roamers need card draw desperately, and the Dragons love having it. Imagine using this as a way of coercing all opponent minions onto one base, then playing Hyperspeed 10 to move them all to a double rune base. All of that work for very little VP. It's going to frustrate your opponents. Card advantage also increases the flexibility of Science Officer and Teleport Overflow. A double Wyvern combo for 14 breakpoint damage sounds very nice, especially when you take out 2 opposing minions at the same time. With the added card draw, you don't need to worry about the ship's captain grabbing his own teammates since you might draw them anyway. Versatility, power, and card draw. The ship's captain can enable all of them. So which is better, going for the immediate play sidekick or the rarer card? Obviously it will depend on your partner faction, but your preference may drive which faction you pick, so let me know in the comments. That's it for this week. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Let's shut it down.